Hello, BookTube, and welcome to another weekly reading vlog. These are the books that I've been reading this week. So, apologies, I know I say this a lot, but this is going to be yet another week where I try and run through these as quickly as possible because once again, I find myself filming this video up past my bedtime. I've got an early morning tomorrow. It's late at night over here. This is the only time all day I've had to film this video, work, kids, etc. So I'll just try and work my way through these quickly. So the Epic of Gilgamesh, last week I had just been about finished with it. I had been on page 176, and I finished off the remaining 30 or so pages. And then I filmed a video and reviewed it on this channel, and if you missed it, I'll link to it in the description down below. So the Epic of Gilgamesh is done. Epic of Gilgamesh being done, that opened up a new spot on my reading list. So I'm going from the classics to the pulp fantasy. This is the Starlight Enclave. I don't know if you can read this out in reverse writing, but this says book 1, which is a lie. It's maybe book 1 of this particular story arc, but it turns out it's like book 30 or something of the Legend of Drizzt series, which they put in small print over here. So I'm jumping in the middle of a series which has been ongoing for like 30 books. And I'm able to follow on what's going on more or less. The author is doing just enough to kind of bring me up to speed and refresh me with who these characters are. There's a fair amount I feel lost about, but I figure it's maybe a good intellectual exercise to stick with it, even if I don't know what's going on, and try and sort out the pieces. And I'm intrigued by the general world building that's going on here. If I could, I would start at book 1 in the series, but I can't because I'm out here in Vietnam and I'd never be able to track down all the books. So I'm just reading this book because it was in my school library, and it's interesting. I started this book and I'm on page 102 now. And then on the Bible, I'm continuing to work my way through 2 Samuel. I was on 2 Samuel 2 last time, and I've just finished up 2 Samuel 9. I guess 7 chapters in 2 Samuel. I finished Persepolis and reviewed it on this channel, and I'll link to that review in the description down below if you missed it. But now that this comic book is done, that opens up a new slot for another comic book on my reading roster. So I've got Donald Duck, Lost in the Andes. Now I've just barely started this one. There was a introduction here, which goes on for about 5 pages or so. It's a little bit difficult to flip through the pages and hold the book up, but you get the idea. That I read through the introduction, which had some fluff in it, but also had some interesting stuff about Karl Barks's biography that I never knew. He had a bit of a rough life at times. Went through a couple disastrous marriages, some legal struggles near the end of his life. Didn't know any of that, so that was interesting. And I've just barely started the first comic, Lost in the Andes, which is fun. It's a typical wacky adventure, but Donald Duck adventure, but lots of fun so far. I'm only just, how many pages am I into it? I'm only just 12 pages into it, but so far, lots of fun. So that is my reading for this week. Thank you very much, BookTube, and I will see you again next week.